Okay, welcome back. Now we finished with Batch Geo, and I want to show you the next program, which will do a very similar thing with geocoding. It's ArcGIS, and I'm going to start this time with the database that we looked at before. So you'll notice that this database right here has it has artist ID and name and so on, and then it has a couple of columns right here that are blank. And in order to use this spreadsheet in ArcGIS, it would be really desirable to get rid of these blank columns. It didn't matter for batchgeo.com, but for this program with ArcGIS, it does. So I'm going to right-click on this column and just delete it, and then I'm going to delete this column as well. And you'll notice now that column B, it looks like we're missing some text. It's actually just hidden in here. So if I go in between B and C right here and I double click, it will auto format that column and make it wide enough to hold all of the values. And then the same way with column D right here, I'm just double click and make it wide enough. And then you see that column E is also empty, and this one is empty, so I'm going to delete it. And of course now this last column is empty as well. So now I've got this all set up so that there are no blank columns, and then it looks like there's another couple blank columns right here, H and I. So if you want to, you can actually highlight both of them and right click and delete them. There. And then again, my home address just needs to be clicked on to make it wide enough. And then I'm going to come over here. It looks like I've got a few more blank columns over here, and I'm going to delete those as well. And then I've got city, state, and zip. So that looks good, and this Excel spreadsheet is now ready to go with ArcGIS. Is one thing I forgot to do over here, and that is to double click on the column to make it wide enough. So that's very good. And now I'm going to save this, and I'm going to say okay. It's read-only for some reason, probably because it's being used by somebody else, and I'm just going to save a copy of this database. Alright. Okay, so now I'm ready to save this database, this spreadsheet, and I'm just going to go up and to File and save it. And there we go. Now we're ready to go with ArcGIS. But before you start up ArcGIS, it's really important that you close this spreadsheet that you're going to use, because we're going to need to bring this into ArcGIS, and if you try to bring it in when it's open in Excel, it will give you an error. So I'm going to close it. Okay, now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to open my ArcGIS, specifically ArcMap. So this is assuming that you've already used ArcMap, this video, so I'm not going to show you the basics of it, but come over here and open ArcMap. And when ArcMap opens, it asks me if I want to open a particular existing map. In this case, I'm just going to cancel. And this will be a new blank map right here. Before I start now and bring in my database, I think I'm going to bring in some kind of base map. So I can go up here to File and Add Data, and I can add a base map. So I think I'm going to add a base map, and just to keep things real simple, I'm going to add a base map, a very simple gray, sort of gray canvas base map. So light gray canvas like that. Add it. Got it. And since I know I'm working in Chicago area, I'm going to go up here and pick up my zoom in tool, and I'm going to zoom Chicago area. There we go. And I'm going to go in one more time, just because I know that I'm going to be right in there. And I know that most of them are really even closer than that, so maybe I'll just go in one more time right here. That looks good to me. Okay, I think I'm ready to bring in my Excel spreadsheet. And an Excel spreadsheet can be brought into an ArcGIS or ArcMap session. But first, I have to go to Catalog, and I have to be able to navigate and find the Excel spreadsheet. And in order to do that, I have to have a connection to where it's stored. So I've stored the Excel spreadsheet that we were looking at right on my desktop right here. So I am going to make a folder connection to my desktop. And I do that by right-clicking and connecting to folder. And I go to desktop right there. So now I have a folder connection to my desktop. And if I hit the plus button, I'll see everything on my desktop. And right here I see my spreadsheet called addresses artemisia.xlsx. And if I hit the plus button next to it, I see that there's one sheet. Okay. So I'm going to take that sheet right there, and I'm going to just drag it into my view. Of course, nothing comes up, but it does come up on my table of contents over here. And if you noticed, my table of contents was just showing the layers here, but list by drawing order. But then when I brought the spreadsheet in, it changed it to list by source. And when you do list by source, it actually shows you then any spreadsheets or tables or anything that are in the ArcMap project. Now that it's in my ArcMap project right here, I should be able to right-click on it and open it. And I want to take a look at it, and should notice that it was able to take all of the different columns from the spreadsheet and put them into a table that ArcGIS can recognize. So this is the table that I'm going to use to geocode. And again, what I'll need is the home address, the city, the state, and the zip.